Hello and welcome to Super Mario Words, where we talk about random Mario things and rank them.
Heck yeah, we do.
I'm Sen.
And I'm Drew.
And today we're going to be talking about ghost houses.
Yes, the haunted houses of the Mario world.
Yes. Not in like a metaphorical way, that's literally what they are.
That's literally, they're houses with ghosts in them.
Yeah. So, the first appearance of the ghost house, which is what we're primarily going to be talking about because we just played Super Mario World.
Yeah, is in Super Mario World.
Yeah, it's in Super Mario World. It's a type of stage where you enter a creepy house and it has a unique soundtrack, and you have to get past the ghosts. It's full of haunty enemies.
Yes, and usually there's some kind of trick to getting to the right exit.
Yeah, there's some level of like obfuscation or kind of trickiness or like a maze.
Yeah, you have to find the right door, or you have to, fly up to the rafters or something.
Yeah. So it's kind of a break from the typical just like run to the end stage.
Yeah. It's fun.
Yeah.
And it lets you save afterwards, which is very useful in Super Mario World.
Yeah, it is. So that's kind of what a ghost house is. It's very, very iconic, like the tile set. And when the little scene where Mario walks up and sees, does it literally just say ghost house?
It does literally just say ghost house above the door.
Yeah, it's just like, apparently Dinosaur Land is like littered with these creepy abandoned manors full of ghosts.
Yeah, which is interesting, because there don't seem to be any other buildings in Dinosaur Land, except for Bowser's castles.
Yeah, so that moves us right into our first discussion question, which is, are the ghost houses Bowser's creation or naturally haunted houses?
And it's a good question. Like, on the one hand, you would think they'd have to be Bowser's creation, because again, where these mansions come from in this land where everybody's a dinosaur and nobody seems to have thumbs.
Well, yeah, so there are a few established structures that we find throughout this game in Dinosaur Land.
Dinosaur Land.
This
is not the Mushroom Kingdom, it's Dinosaur Land.
Yeah, well, it might be in the Mushroom Kingdom.
It might be, but maybe not.
Maybe not.
Who knows? There's
not really a good sense of the political geography.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about that when we talked about Sarasa Land.
Yeah, I guess I always forget like what we actually discussed on the podcast.
Yeah.
And that we haven't.
Because we have a lot of discussions on our own, obviously.
Yeah. So we have the ghost houses. We have Bowser's fortresses, which are all over the place.
Yeah.
We have Yoshi's house.
Yes.
Which
is teeny tiny.
It's kind of just like made of logs and grass and leaves.
I can see that Yoshi probably just put it together himself.
On the other hand, it does kind of mysteriously have this like stone fireplace, doesn't it?
That's true, actually.
Which maybe he mail ordered the fireplace just to install in his like hut.
Possibly. Like, it's entirely possible that mostly, not having big houses is a conscious cultural choice in Dinosaur Land. They could, but it's not their jam.
Maybe. I mean, they seem like pretty hardy creatures.
Yeah.
The other one, the much more significant structure that isn't really accounted for is the Switch Palaces.
Yes, the Switch Palaces.
Which are just kind of these like strange, like really extravagant buildings that house the switches that cause blocks all over Dinosaur Land to become solid. So there's different colored ones. So the yellow Switch Palace turns on all the yellow blocks.
Green Switch Palace, the green blocks, etc.
Which I kind of feel like these must, because they're kind of hidden.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like they must be, like, maybe they're from a culture that predates the Yoshis.
Possibly, yeah. Like,
they're referred to as palaces.
Yeah. And they're not really, like, they don't have any of Bowser's army in them.
They use a completely unique tile set.
Yeah. They're definitely not something that ever works to his advantage. Bowser's, that is.
No. If anything, it's possible that he, like, temporarily deactivated them.
Yeah.
Or something. It's not clear.
Yeah.
So those are all the structures that exist.
Yeah.
So Bowser's fortresses, presumably he built those.
Yeah.
We don't know, like, how, like, construction works in the Mario world. However, Mario can, like, pick up towers and kick them.
Yeah.
I don't know how serious the, like, fortress victory screens are, but they're all very funny.
Yeah.
In one of them, he takes like, what is that? Like the big like wipeout thing?
Oh yeah, like a big paintbrush or mop or something.
Yeah, he just like wipes it off, and it just wipes it out of existence. Is very good.
And all that's left behind is a little white surrender flag.
So maybe they can like just drop the castles off.
Yeah.
They can just like prefab
It might
them.
be, prefab castles. That would make sense for Bowser's army, frankly.
Yeah, they built. Otherwise, they built a lot of castles in what must have been a pretty short amount of time.
Yeah.
Either that or they already existed.
Yeah.
But there's no clear reason to understand like why they would be there.
Yeah.
The other possibility is that there are buildings throughout Dinosaur Land, and we just don't see them because they're not relevant.
Possible. But boring.
Like, if you were fighting your way through a land, you wouldn't, like, go to just the towns.
Yeah.
Like that. You wouldn't need to pass through those unless they were enemy towns, which...
Yeah, or if they, RPG style had things that would help you.
Yeah.
But yeah, you wouldn't just stop off at the Giant Eagle to pick up a 6-pack of orange soda.
Yeah. So, I guess that the question of whether there are, like, any... I kind of feel like they kind of have to be something made by Bowser.
Yeah.
Because they have the look of, like, a specially designed fortress. Like, there are certain consistent design aesthetics. And I feel like there's almost a sort of, like, superstition or ritual involved in where boos live.
Yeah.
Like, they clearly have certain demands because, like, in terms of, like, where they will reside, because they don't, as a general rule, wander into the outside.
Yeah, no, you don't really find boos in non-ghost house parts of Super Mario World.
Do boos ever appear in, like, an open-air level? Like,
I don't think so.
I don't think they even appear in fortresses.
No, I don't think so.
Which they definitely do in Super Mario Brothers 3.
Yeah.
They're clearly capable of taking up residence in fortresses, and there weren't really ghost houses in that game.
Yeah.
But they probably prefer a certain kind of environment.
There's one other possibility here.
Yeah.
Which is that the ghost houses are from the ghost dimension.
That's right.
Yes. As we established in the Matter Splatter Galaxy episode.
Yeah. Which we did kind of fold the ghost dimension discussion into this question.
Yes.
Which those two don't necessarily need to be mutually exclusive. Like, this could be their preferred, like, environment, which has been pulled from the ghost dimension.
Yeah.
However, I feel like it could be perfectly possible for them to kind of to cross over into these abandoned buildings.
That is true.
Like, because here's the thing, as we saw from the Matter Splatter Galaxy, like, pulling in a building from the ghost dimension is difficult.
Yeah.
I think that, like, clearly there was some benefit to it, to trying to pull a whole building through. And I think that there must be something that is more limited about these ghost house fortresses.
That is true.
And so I think that these probably are, like, from our material world that have had something done to them or, like, specially adapted to have ghosts in them.
That's fair. Something to make them the kind of environment that the boos prefer.
Yeah, they have a particular architectural style that doesn't seem like it really belongs in Dinosaur Land.
That is true.
I couldn't tell you what architectural style, because I don't know what architectural styles are. But it is distinct.
Yeah.
There's a certain kind of, like, manner.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the kind of thing you'd imagine as a haunted house.
Yeah. Manner as in the kind of building, not manner as in, like, a style.
Yeah.
Although it
is also that.
It is a manner with a certain manner about it. So I think that these... Because we know boos are not dead people.
No.
They are soldiers from the ghost dimension.
Yes, they are.
Which means that they probably don't haunt things in the natural way that we think of hauntings.
Yeah.
So they're more like demons, really.
Yeah, kinda. When you think about it that way.
There must be some kind of, like, ritual, like, there must be something done to these buildings, right?
Yeah.
And there's probably a certain level of, like, specification. Like, you know, in Terraria, how one of your dumbass NPCs will not move into a house unless you've built it in a very specific shape, and you've put a table, and you've put a chair. And, like, all of these ghost houses have similar things that have probably been tailored to the liking of ghosts. Like, it's clearly they require this kind of environment to exist because they don't leave.
Yeah.
They stay inside. They clearly can't just go out. Like, we don't even see ghosts on the grounds.
Yeah.
There are no ghosts outside.
Mm-hmm.
Although there's like a fog. I wonder if the ghosts themselves are involved in, like, transporting buildings.
That would make sense, especially since now I'm thinking of Luigi's Mansion, right?
Uh-huh.
And, like, the mansion in the original Luigi's Mansion is actually just, like, a thing created by the ghosts. It's not a real house.
Really?
Yeah.
Like, it's a ghost house.
Yeah, it is literally a house made by ghosts.
I didn't know that. Where did you get that from?
From the wiki.
Okay, well,
yeah.
Where did it get it from?
Is
that part of, like, is that explained in the game?
I think so. I think it's explained at the end when you beat it. It, like, disappears.
Oh, right. Okay.
And then you get to build a real mansion with all the coins you got in the game.
That rings a bell.
Yeah.
So, okay. So maybe this isn't from the ghost dimension, but it's not a material building either.
Yeah. And, like, the wiki literally describes that house as a ghost house.
Right.
Yeah.
So we should definitely, I think, look at this as, like, a ghost house is, like, a technical term for a Boo fortress.
Yeah.
Which,
like, the Boos have created this space for themselves in the material world. The prime material Mario plane.
What does Bowser do for them that they work for him?
That is an extremely good question.
Yeah. I think that's worth exploring. But I think we've actually answered our core discussion question.
Yeah.
And maybe we should move on so we have time to answer.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay, so number 2. Are there any non-haunted houses on Dinosaur Island?
Yeah, and we've basically gone over this, but let's go a little deeper.
Yeah, so we know that these aren't just buildings that are haunted.
No.
So these are otherworldly intrusions into the natural landscape and civilization of Dinosaur Land.
Yeah. Oh, and I note there is one place that has ghosts says would probably not be one of these, which is the sunken ghost ship.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Like, it seems to be a physical sunken ship that has non-ghost enemies in it. It has bullet bills.
Yeah.
But there are Boos there.
Right, and we don't actually know what that is.
Yeah.
That was probably already there. It looks like it's kind of a particular place.
Yeah, no, that is a real physical place that probably has some meaning to the history of this place.
See, okay. The ghost houses are like, they all bear close similarities to each other.
Yes.
They haven't, like, plopped down onto the environment.
Yeah.
The sunken ship is completely unique, which makes me think it probably wasn't a planned part of Bowser's invasion.
No, yeah, it's something he took advantage of.
Yeah, so by coincidence, like, this had the conditions for Boo's moving in, which makes me wonder, like, is it possible they were already there before, or...
You know, that makes sense, and that makes me realize something.
What?
Alright, so the Haunted Ghost Ship has 3 stages.
Right.
The first part, there's bullet bills, no Boos, and it actually kind of feels a lot like a ship that was sunk, you know?
Yeah.
It has all these, like, fiddly bits that don't really have any mechanical meaning but make it feel more ship-like.
Yeah, also it does support our earlier thing of the, like, they aren't seen outside the environment.
Yeah.
Outside the structure.
Yeah. And so when you go down the pipe, you get to the part where the Boos are, you know? And it's a lot more ghost housey, you know? But then, when you go past that, you enter this kind of surreal space where you're just falling endlessly.
Yeah, it's just this long chute where you're just falling through blackness.
Yeah, and
It's very creepy.
there's all these other enemies and coins and weird stuff, and it's real, and you don't even end it in the same way you end almost every other level. You by jumping through one of those football things.
Yeah.
You end it by picking up a little sphere with a question mark on it.
Yeah.
I think that part of the level might actually be in the ghost dimension.
Okay, there's one of two possibilities I see.
Yeah.
Either that part of the level is in the ghost dimension, or that's the actual haunted part of the ship.
Oh.
Because, like, so there are boos
Yeah.
who are not ghosts,
Yeah.
even though they live in ghost houses.
Yeah.
But they're not dead souls.
They're
right?
not dead souls.
They are not hauntings in the traditional sense.
Yeah.
But if this thing was already there,
yeah.
then maybe it actually is haunted. And
Oh, man. Fuck.
And, like, actual hauntings, like,
Yeah.
honest to God, real hauntings in the Mario universe take on a quality that is completely different from what boos do to a space.
Oh.
And that's what that is.
Oh, God, that's horrifying. And
I
yet
love it.
compelling. It reminds me of Anatomy.
Oh, yeah.
Which is a horror game about a literal haunted house.
Right. The house is haunted by itself.
Yes.
Which, yeah, I think that's the most compelling theory, honestly.
That is super compelling. That is super good.
Yeah, so, okay. So I think that the boos were not already there.
No.
They were probably in some way drawn by the existing haunting, but they're not in it.
No. No,
So
they're not actually in that part of the level. You're right.
No, we should put that to the side.
Yeah.
But maybe explore that more in another episode.
Yeah.
So I think we got sidetracked from moving on to our next.
We did actually.
Okay.
Non-haunted houses.
There's a lot to work with here.
There is.
So are there any non-haunted houses on Dinosaur Island?
Obviously, there's Yoshi's Little House.
Yeah. So there aren't houses like this.
Yeah.
There are no big manor
No.
houses, I think, in Dinosaur Land.
Yeah, and honestly, if we're talking about the possibility that there are towns in Dinosaur Land, which there probably are, they're probably closer in quality to Yoshi's house in terms of construction.
Yeah, they are. I feel like the moment I use the word indigenous, I'm gonna lend a context and a weight to this game that it doesn't have the chops to grapple with.
No, oh Lord, no.
So let's just skip over that and say, let's just focus on they're the dinosaurs who live in Dinosaur Land.
Yes.
So,
They're never mind.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's bad too.
it gets thorny fast.
Dinosaurs who live in Dinosaur Land.
The dinosaurs who live in Dinosaur Land, they probably, they are, kind of... Because I want to say less civilized. Why do games do this to us?
Look, they are less urban.
Yeah, okay.
There you go.
They're clearly, comfortable living in a more, open, kind of, open environment.
Yeah.
I mean, they are just somewhat, creatures to a degree.
Yeah, they can easily live off the land, you know?
Yeah. A lot of the creatures we see that are enemies that are dinosaurs, probably don't even necessarily work for Bowser's.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Rex.
Yeah.
The Reznors are clearly traitors to their kind.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Even though they are adorable.
Yes.
Because Reznors live in
big goofy faces.
fortresses.
Yeah.
Unless there are fortresses that don't belong to Bowser, but that seems unlikely. They probably do have Koopas in them, I think.
Yeah.
So I think Reznors are traitors to their kind.
That makes sense.
So, yeah, so there's not probably, construction, humans build so much.
There's not a lot of formalized, urbanized, that they have the kind of structures they need and that's it.
Yeah, basically. And they don't become haunted in the way that ghost houses are haunted.
No.
Which, considering how weird the series is about ghosts, we need, distinct terminology for actual hauntings and, honestly, referring to boos and creatures like them as, a class of demons.
Yeah.
Seems like...
That feels appropriate.
So So it is if we refer to ghost houses as having a demonic infestation,
There you go.
then it kind of paints a clearer picture of why there's no risk of just regular buildings, regular houses in Dinosaur Land becoming haunted.
Yes.
Because it's not a haunting, it's a demonic infestation.
Exactly.
And the only truly haunted structure we are conjecturing exists is the sunken ship.
Yeah.
Which, if at least has the conditions which would allow Booze to reside there, maybe through some kind of modification, but clearly they can't just infest any old building.
No,
right?
yeah.
So I think that kind of answers our second discussion question pretty much.
Yeah, I think that's right.
So number 3, what makes the geometry of the ghost houses so disorienting?
Yeah, because, God, ghost houses are kind of non-Euclidean. You can go through one door and just end up back where you started.
Yeah, just a lot of stuff that just kind of like bends around and folds in on itself.
Yeah.
The exits to the buildings are always kind of hidden.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which probably, like, the ghost dimension probably bends space, right?
Yeah. Like, there's probably some sort of spatial interface with the ghost dimension, even if it isn't directly, direct portal to there or something.
Yeah. Ghost houses, a lot of the time, also seem really crowded.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a lot of booze in them.
A lot of them just have, like, clouds of ghosts.
Yeah.
Like, floating in. And I think that, like, some part of the process, like, because like, the vectors by which Booze can enter our dimension are so limited.
Yeah.
That they must, to some degree, like, folding space so that they can all kind of crowd in. So they can fit, like, they can make it bigger they can make it so it has more space in the interior than it appears to have on the exterior. Dodge that bullet.
I can't help but think that there's...
Shut the fuck up, Doctor Who fans. Anyway, where was
but that makes sense. The geometry of ghost houses is disorienting because the space itself is bent to accommodate the weirdness of the ghost dimension.
Yeah, which I guess there's a question of, like, what is the order of operations? Is space folded and then that lets ghosts in, or does letting ghosts in fold the space?
It's a good question.
Because I wonder about if the sunken ship is very straightforward in its geometry.
Yeah.
It also seems very crowded, which makes me wonder if... Well, because we know that ghost houses are not material in existence.
Yeah.
So they probably can't warp physical material objects in the same way.
Although, there's one thing about that ghost sunken ship, is that last part is far longer than any ship could possibly be.
That is a whole nother question, right? That's a separate question from what Booze are doing to it.
That is true, but possibly that, like, kind of spatial weirdness is what allowed Booze to get in.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's the interface in, like, the different parts of the ship are something that is not 100% clear.
Yeah.
Like, that's
kind of wibbly wobbly, you could say.
I could, but I refuse to. Why did I just, like, randomly give the middle finger to Doctor Who fans again?
I don't know. It's not. You were the one who decided to do that. I am a Doctor Who fan.
Well, fuck you.
I love you too, dear.
I don't know. I guess it's just because there's so many memes. Around Doctor Who.
Yeah.
In fact, you just independently brought me another one.
Yep, I did.
But yeah. So clearly, they want to fill the ghost houses up with lots of ghosts. So,
yes.
And they want to ensnare Mario in their strange labyrinths of ghost space.
Yep. Oh man.
What?
That makes me think that you asked earlier, how is Bowser paying the ghosts to work for him?
Right.
And it's possible that getting into this dimension is, for whatever reason, the goal in and of itself. Thus why so many are trying to get cram in at once.
If it's a demonic infestation, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And it would make sense also if like this the sunken ship is this especially haunted place.
Yeah.
It would kind of be used as like the guard post for Bowser's ultimate fortress.
Yeah.
Which, what is that anyway? Like, he has like, so you beat the sunken ship and then like a Bowser head opens up and there's like a whole small land inside of it. Does Bowser have just like a portable subterranean land contained inside a giant head-shaped vehicle?
Called the Valley of Bowser, even.
Yeah, like, what is that?
I don't
think that was already there.
No, I don't think that's part of Dinosaur Land.
It looks cool, though, when it just
sure
like,
does.
rises out of the water.
Oh, yeah. I feel like we could do an entire episode on that, frankly.
There's a lot of density.
Yeah.
To, like, we're not even touching on the Forest of Illusion.
Oh, God, yeah.
Which is its own brand of bullshit.
It is. Dinosaur Land is a weird place.
Yeah, it is. Is this like your fucking house, Yoshi? You live here? It's weird.
Bowser looking around. You live like this?
So I think we've got a clear handle on what is about the geometry of the ghost houses. So let's move on to our next discussion question.
Yes.
Which is, why won't Yoshi enter ghost houses?
Yeah.
So a brief background.
Yeah.
So if you are riding Yoshi when you enter a ghost house, you will hop off Yoshi and leave him there.
Yeah.
And enter the ghost house. The same thing happens with Bowser's Fortresses. Like any interior building, this technically, I can't remember the details. There are technical reasons why Yoshi cannot go into these levels.
Yeah.
But in the universe of Mario, those reasons don't exist.
No.
So we need an in-universe explanation. Why is Yoshi so reluctant to enter ghost houses?
And the wiki says that for ghost houses it's because he's scared, Yeah. Which, fair enough, but if it also happens with fortresses. And I think this may actually go back to one of the things we were talking about earlier, where Yoshi's and Dinosaur Land society isn't urban.
Right.
Maybe, like, these huge buildings kind of unnerve them.
Maybe.
By themselves. Like, it's, just imagine, seeing a fucking skyscraper for the first time in your life, That's gonna feel weird.
Yeah. Also, I feel like if we're characterizing Booze as a kind of demon...
Yes.
Then I feel like there's, like, the specific reluctance to enter that space, I think, makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Like, I'm trying to think of, like, how many characters in the Mario universe are actually will tangle with Booze.
Yeah. It takes some guts to face some, like, demon from another dimension.
I guess it depends on how much you count, like, Mario Party and shit. Which is 0.
Yes.
The correct answer is 0.
The correct answer is, in fact, 0. Mario Party is not canon, and will never be canon, except for the part where Bowser is a communist.
The what?
Bowser's Communist Revolution in the Mario Party.
Right.
That might also not be canon. We'll figure that out later.
Also, we are not, like, 100% committing to Mario Party not being canon, but only if it turns out to be funnier.
Yes, that is true.
But
Mario Party might be canon if it's funny, but otherwise not.
Yeah, I don't think we've added anything from Mario Party to our canon yet.
No.
Because it's bad.
Yeah. Well, it's not very useful for lore. And it's bad.
Yeah. Also, we have to consider that almost all of our stuff, except in caves and stuff, yes, Yoshi is, like, functioning in, like, outdoor areas.
Yeah.
Yoshi is like a small horse.
Yes.
Which, like, Yoshi's mobility in a building seems like it would be less than Mario's. And
that's actually a really good point.
For practical mechanical reasons, we know that that's, like, functionally probably wouldn't be true, really.
Yeah, but within the context, I can totally see, like, I doubt these houses are made for Yoshis. They're probably made for either humans or Koopas. Bipedal creatures, either way. Which, Yoshi's technically bipedal, but
Oh, man.
Very different body plan.
Why would it be made for Koopas, though?
Hmm.
Are Koopas in ghost houses?
Well, okay, not ghost houses.
Actually, you know what? It reminds me a lot of the ghost houses is Naissance. Did I talk about the game? The one where it's like you're walking around all this weird alien architecture.
Ooh.
And it's like
you have.
It's made up of like things that are shaped like human structures, like steps and rooms and stuff. But it's all kind of like unwelcoming and like arbitrary and like not adapted for like humans.
Oh, well, now I want to play this.
It like the ghost house would probably be a lot like that.
Yeah.
Because A, it is a warped alien space, and B, it's made for creatures who can float through walls.
That is true, actually.
There's no particular reason why it needs to be navigable by any corporeal creature, really.
That's true, other than gameplay concerns.
Yeah.
Also, I did have one other possibility in there. Because there's a lot of different types of boos.
Uh-huh.
And one of the ghosts there isn't even named as a boo. And it's like a dinosaur ghost.
Eries.
Eries, yeah. And like, are those the same kinds of things as boos? Might those actually be dead dinosaurs?
It's hard to say. They've always looked a lot like ghosts of baby Yoshis to me.
Yeah. And even if they're not, even if they are just demons from the ghost dimension, I can understand Yoshi's reluctance to fucking face that sort of bullshit.
Yeah, like here the weird thing about boos is that even though they are considered ghosts, in some sense, they have never really taken human forms.
No, they don't even look like white or transparent humans. They just look like round friends.
They're orbs.
Yeah.
They're shaped like friends. But these ones...
These have very distinct head face shapes.
They have taken what appears to be like the shape of ghost dinosaurs.
Yeah.
Which makes me wonder if there is like some motivation that boos or creatures like them have to like specifically torment the dinosaur residents of this land.
Because do those guys even show up in other games?
I'm not sure. We are looking things up. There's something called Eerie Jig in the wiki, but I'm not looking up what it is. Yeah, like it has the Yoshi like spine spikes.
Yeah,
the like triangles. It looks remarkably like a Yoshi, and it doesn't appear in any other game.
Yeah, so this is something specifically done in Dinosaur Land, and it is fucked up.
Yeah, so I think that there's something here between like dinosaurs and boos. That is like there's something weird here.
Yeah, and like even with all the practical concerns aside, I can understand if Yoshi doesn't want to fuck with that.
Yeah, like because I think Eries probably are the same kind of creature as boos.
Probably.
Because, for one thing, they are, broadly speaking, still probably demons.
Yeah.
And there's no particular reason why they need a fixed corporeal form.
That is true. Like, some of the boos fucking turn themselves into, like, bars and, like, things you can walk on and stuff.
That's weird.
And blocks. You know, some of them shapeshift into stone.
It's true. I kind of feel like the orb shape is probably not what they really look like.
Yeah.
But they probably just don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're just like...
Like, it would make sense if the orb shape is probably just easiest to maintain in this dimension.
Which is, like, literally true of, like, physical objects.
Yeah, like, a sphere is pretty, you know...
Yeah, like, that's why bubbles are spherical.
Exactly. You know? And there are the little green bubble things in ghost houses, too.
Yeah, those might also be demons.
Yeah, probably.
But, like, fuck it, I don't... face? Like, what? Why would I bother doing that stupid bullshit? Like, having a face.
I'm just gonna be a sphere.
What if like what if boos just like they manifest faces because they're like we should be able to talk to each other.
Yeah.
And then you have these green motherfuckers like I hate all you stupid idiots. I'm not even gonna craft a mouth to talk to you because I can't stand the sight of you dumbasses.
I'm not gonna have eyes either.
No, I'm just gonna chill and like bump into shit that gets so in here. Like, fuck you guys. The more I think about that, the funnier it is.
This is my favorite explanation so far.
Yeah, the boos are like if you went to Second Life and you just pick one of the default avatars.
Yeah.
So you're just like either a human or like a generic furry.
Yeah.
And like the fact that Eries have a specific shape, which we rarely see ghosts ever do, says that they must be taking that shape for a reason.
Yeah.
And it's probably to scare the shit out of dinosaurs.
Yeah, that sounds right.
It makes me wonder, like, is Mario ever, like, unnerved by the ghosts?
I mean, we know Luigi is.
Well, yes. We know in considerable abundance that Luigi is.
And honestly, I'm going to be honest, like, even if Mario isn't unnerved by the ghosts during Super Mario World, I would be surprised if he isn't. Like, no, actually, there's that one moment at the beginning of every ghost house where Mario just stops and looks up and readies himself to go in.
That's true. Mario is pretty unflappable, though.
Yeah, but you can tell he's steeling himself. He's you know, unflappable on the outside, but inside he's got some feelings about this whole situation.
It is like, in the early games, like before we have Charles Martinet's voice.
Yeah.
That is like one of few times in the like early 2D games where Mario actually does emote.
Yeah.
It's in a very limited way because it's just like what you would do if you pressed up on the controller.
Yeah.
But they went out of their way, right, to make him stop
put that in,
and look up before he enters.
Yeah.
Which he does that in the fortresses too.
Like, yeah.
It's very interesting that they added that one little bit of emoting.
Yeah.
Which appears like nowhere else in the game. That's not a thing he does in, I think, any of the 2D games prior to that, or any other point in Super Mario World. I think that is a unique moment, which is very interesting.
They do a lot with a little there.
Are we ready to do a ranking?
I think we are ready to do a ranking.
All right. Let me pull up my ranking here.
Alrighty.
So let's start in the middle. Dry Bones, above or below?
I think above.
Yeah.
Dry Bones is nice and creepy. Ghost houses are creepier.
I think that ghost houses were influential. This was like their first appearance was in Super Mario World. They have become like a defining thing.
Yeah. Like Super Mario 64 has one. All of the new Super Mario Brothers games have one. They show up in Mario Kart. The entire Luigi's Mansion series is just based in them.
Yeah, Yoshi's Island does not explicitly have ghost houses, but its fortress design definitely is taking a page from. Because we'll see that when we get to it in our marathon. But
yeah,
there's definitely influence of the ghost houses in the design of fortresses in Yoshi's Island.
Yeah.
So I think that they're very important to the series. They establish like a very strong tone, which is something that like is not like done a whole lot in the series. So let's just like jump ahead a little bit. Above or below Phanto?
Ooh, okay, now that's interesting. My first instinct is to say, are paintings below Phanto?
Paintings are right below Phanto.
Okay. Man.
I would put it above.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. No, Phanto is his own thing, definitely. And is his own very interesting tonal thing, but ghost houses have this lasting legacy.
Yeah, and like, even within Super Mario 64, where paintings are like very important to establishing the tone of that game.
Yeah.
Like, it has its own very unique ghost house with the scariest moment in the history of the series.
That fucking piano.
That fucking piano. Oh, man. We should do an episode of the piano.
We should do an episode on the piano.
Oh, man.
Oh, man.
That piano fucked with people like nothing else in this whole series.
Yeah. Not even Bowser's flesh melting off left as big of an impression as the piano.
Everyone remembers the piano.
Yeah.
It's such a cheap scare.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Okay.
Okay.
So above
Phanto.
All right, what about Princess Daisy?
Oh, man. That's a toughie.
I do like Princess Daisy a lot.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we put a lot of meat on those bones.
We did put a lot of meat on those bones. She is, like, in the game, she's a character with a personality, but that personality only gets so much chance to show itself when it doesn't show up in any of the games with actual plots.
Yeah, like, she's characterized insofar she is completely within sports games.
Yeah, sports games and Mario Party and shit like that.
And Mario Party is not canon. What if we treated we said that Mario Party was not canon, but Mario Party was canon?
Oh, God.
So it's included, the Giant Bomb series where they played all the Mario Party games is canon to our universe, but Mario Party is not.
Well, then I would have to watch that.
You would. But I canceled my Giant Bomb subscription because I wasn't using it.
Yeah, well, there you go then.
So it's not canon.
So it's not canon.
Maybe you should watch it.
Maybe I should, though.
Anyway, yeah, I think I'm going to have to...
About Princess Daisy. Okay, right. Cool.
Professor Elvin Gadd.
Now, this is interesting because they occupy a similar space.
Yeah, he's a good character.
He's a good character. On the one hand, he's a good character. On the other hand, he's much less consistent than the Ghost Houses.
Yeah.
And but that can be both a positive and a negative.
I feel like, I don't know, I'm kind of biased because Super Mario World made a very big impression on me personally.
Okay.
But, like, Ghost Houses are so iconic, and I think I would put them above.
Okay.
So that puts us up against our number one spot, Goombella, above below.
Oh, man. Well, what do you think?
Goombella is a pretty well-realized character in her own game.
Yeah.
So it's pitting that against the influential and, like, strong tonal elements of the Ghost House.
Yeah, this is a tough one, but man.
I think I would still put her above.
Yeah.
Actually.
Yeah, I think so. She's just a really good character, and Ghost Houses are an extremely good element, but I don't think they quite get up to the level of a character with a whole personality and lots of lines and lots of screen time.
Sorry, I think I misspoke. I think I was thinking of putting the Ghost House above.
Really? Okay. All right. Sell me on it.
All right. So like I said, like the Ghost Houses were really strong in like establishing tone.
Okay.
Like this was something that was, I think, really started to kind of become developed in Super Mario Bros. 3 with the fortresses.
Yeah.
And
you did have booze in those too.
Yeah. And that kind of branched off into like the fortresses in Super Mario World, which kind of built up the like really impressive and like imposing like castle with lava and traps and stuff.
Yeah.
And then the other fork was the Ghost House, which really was like a concentration of the atmosphere of like being creepy and unsettling, and it's really kind of refining a very particular thing, and it became like this huge, like really important mainstay of the series because it did this thing that was very unique to it and wasn't really a part of the rest of the game. It was kind of this kind of special thing that these levels in particular were doing.
That's true.
And I think that like it established an identity for a whole class of enemies.
That is true. A whole class of enemies and a whole aspect of the series, really.
Yeah, because like previously, like boos were just kind of decorations in fortresses. Like they were occasionally appeared to kind of harass you in the castles. And then this kind of branched off to establish like ghosts are a major element of the Mario canon.
Yeah, and based on everything that we've been doing, we've been treating them as a major element.
Yeah, because like ghost houses were pivotal in saying like we're going to have specific levels, a recurring type of level that is completely devoted to ghosts.
To Mario dodging the specters of the undead.
Yeah, like
even if they're not really dead.
there's like, the only, like, level themes that are as fully realized as that are, like, first of all, fortresses, which are, like, boss levels. And then, like, themes as broad as, like, caves and underwater.
Yeah.
So, like, ghosts are elevated to the level of, like, theming as broad as, like, underwater levels.
Man. Well, all right, I guess.
And, like, I think that even, like, without ghost houses, we wouldn't have, like, ghosts as such an important and major part of, you know, what defines a series. Like, there was a whole, like, ghost house, like, there's a whole ghost house level in, like, Mario 64. There are, like, full ghost levels in, like, more than one in, like, Mario Galaxy.
Yeah. There are full ghost games in the series.
Yeah.
That is true.
And I think that that's not, like, for, like, a broad, like, general, like, kid series, like, that is, like, a unique element. That's
true. Sonic doesn't fight a lot of ghosts.
Yeah, like, even, like, Legend of Zelda, that's not, like, a major theme that maybe, like, kind of comes up every once in a while.
Yeah.
Like, this development in Super Mario World was a defining moment for one of the building blocks of the series, and I think that we could place it at the top for being that fundamental.
All right, I accept your reasoning, but I hope you do know that by doing this, we are making a statement about the podcast itself.
And we are extending this episode almost to an hour.
Yes.
What statement is that, though?
That we're going to be about ghost law at the time.
You know, I think we've kind of already established that.
That is true. I just wanted to make sure everybody was on the same page with that. All right, Ghost House of that Ghosts. It goes at the top.
Maybe we need to, like, establish, like, a major theme. Like, we need to establish more than one major theme for our podcast, because we established ghosts. That's very good, I think.
Yeah.
So we need to decide, like, what is our, like, unifying, like, what are our multiple wells that we can come back to?
Yeah. Because, we've got the geopolitics of this world.
That's a good one. That's something that we could develop more.
Yeah, we've got, like, all this alternate dimension, incursion stuff.
Yeah, the rage of a dead god.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to wrap this up.
Look, we can just label this as, our special 16th episode Maxi Link special.
This is our ghost extravaganza.
Our ghost extravaganza!
Anyway, so I've successfully argued for putting ghost houses at the very top of Goombella.
Yeah.
A choice I may come to regret.
You may come to regret.
But I think that we should probably end it there because, holy crap.
Yeah.
All right, well,
all right.
We will talk to everyone later, maybe or maybe not, about more ghosts.
May the ghosts be with you.
Yeah, but not force ghosts. That's dumb.
That's different.